Hi honey, how are you? It's Teknikolour, and today I thought I could share my latest speed build in The Sims 4. I worked on Lilsimsie's latest shell challenge, Simsie Little Shell, and it was surprisingly difficult, but I had a really good time doing it. So let's check it out, shall we? So for this shell, I decided to do it in the new Growing Together world, and San Sequoia just felt perfect for it. I did actually try placing the lot in multiple worlds. I even started working in Windenburg for a little bit, and I just couldn't get it to look right. No matter what I did, nothing was fitting. I was like, this is weird. Like whatever I did, it just like could not look good. Something told me to go back to what I wanted to start with, San Sequoia, and I don't know. I just ended up really falling in love with this lot in particular for this shell. And it was like, as soon as I placed it down and I really gave it a shot, I felt like I knew that this was where I wanted to do it. I knew that this was the lot that I needed. I kind of pushed myself with this one. I know it's a much smaller build, so overall everything is just tinier, but there were so many different iterations of a floor plan for this shell. At first, the bathroom was part of the bedroom, and then you would have to go through the bedroom in order to get into the bathroom, but I didn't really want that. Then I had the bathroom over where the couch is right now, and I decided it just like did not feel right, so I ended up moving that room entirely over to the left hand side, so it would be like right next to the door. I know that Lilsimsie herself has done bathrooms that tiny and they do work, but I really didn't want to do it for this shell, and there have been so many different people who have taken on this shell challenge and have done way better bathrooms than I did, but I don't know. I was not expecting to do a smaller bathroom, but I guess for a smaller build, it makes sense. I would say the biggest hurdle for me with this shell challenge was figuring out a floor plan, because every single thing that I tried, once I decided on this particular lot, nothing was fitting. Either the bathroom was going to be in the bedroom, or the bathroom was going to be taking up too much space, so you wouldn't really have a living area. So whatever I did, I was very unhappy with for quite a while. You'll thank me, because this is already kind of a long speed build and I did cut out quite a lot that I thought was unnecessary, but just trust me, that bathroom moved around a lot. And the fact that it is so tiny, and it does work, it can be used by your sim. I know that Lilsimsie herself has actually made bathrooms just like this, so I knew it would work, but I did playtest it. It all works. Unfortunately, in the bedroom, there is a closet that you would have to move, or you would just have to shift things around a little bit for that part to work, that I didn't realize until later on, because I thought there was enough room. But I don't know. Everything else works fine. I'm not that much of a builder. I am enjoying building, but I feel like I have much more experience doing gameplay. However, every single thing that went wrong in this build, I didn't really know how to fix. So if you know why things went wonky, please drop a comment below. So you can see with the pillars, I needed to shift them all down so they wouldn't be clipping into the roof. But then these siding pieces that I put on, like the roof, it's not roof trim, I don't know what it is, a frieze maybe? They kept disappearing on me. You can see here, I keep adding fencing, and I wanted a wraparound porch, but I couldn't figure out exactly how to get that to work. So that's why the porch in the front was made and then disappeared, and I'll add it back in a little bit later. But I figured out that it would delete the wall that the door is on, that diagonal wall, and then I had to rebuild it, but I needed to make an outdoor room in order for it to work. In the end, it all works and everything fits and nothing went away. While I'm struggling with this piece, I think I'll just share some personal news. The reason why this video is actually a week late is because my boyfriend and I had so many things to do the week that I worked on this speed build, and I wasn't able to get the video done in time, but I really enjoyed the things that we did. So we ended up going to the new Super Mario movie, which, okay, I'm gonna be honest. I love Nintendo, I love Mario, even though, you know, everyone on my stream kind of makes fun of me because I could not stand Super Mario Sunshine. We actually don't talk about that game on stream because it was a lot. It was a lot, and I kind of rage quit it. But I was so hyped for this movie. And then they announced that Chris Pratt was going to be Mario, and we saw what he sounded like, and it wasn't good. So so I did not have high hopes for it. But I gotta be honest, we went and we saw the movie with a couple of friends. Before the pandemic, we would all go to the movies maybe like once a month, and we would have dinner afterwards. And it was just so nice getting to see this group of friends again and spending time together and just chatting about the movie afterwards. I don't know. I just really had a good time, but the movie itself was so good. I was surprised. I just really didn't have high hopes for the movie in general. I kind of thought it was going to tank. But then everyone was saying that the movie was doing so well. I did not get taken out by the voice acting, because you know how like sometimes you could be watching a movie and the voice acting is either like you're so aware of who the voice actor is, so you're only picturing them, or it's just like not very good, so you're not as immersed in the film. But I don't know. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. And then on Thursday of that week, we ended up going to see Sarah Millican. She's a comedian from the UK, and she is so funny. There's also this comedian that my boyfriend and I have been following for years, and she is so funny. And we honestly have like spent so much time just like watching clips of her comedy specials on YouTube, or just like listening to her audiobook. I don't know. I've just like really enjoyed her comedy. And since she's based in the UK, I actually don't think she's toured the US before. We've never actually had the chance to see her live, but she announced that she would be coming to the States, and she'd be coming to New York City where I live. And I was like, we have to go see her. And we ordered tickets, and then because of sickness, they had to postpone. So they ended up postponing. It originally was on a Saturday at 9 p.m. and then they postponed it to a Thursday, still at 9 p.m. And I was like, oof. I don't know if I'm looking forward to this as much anymore, because like that's late. I was like really, I was a little like frustrated with it because I didn't want to be out that late. And I don't know, I'm old now. Don't come at me in the comments. I know 9 p.m. is not that late, but whatever. And I ended up having the best time. And it was really funny because she started her set and she's like, I just want to come out here and let everyone know, like, I know it's late, like, and if you're anything like me, I would want to know when it ends. So we're going to be ending around like 11 or like whatever time she said. And I think she ended up ending like maybe like 5 minutes earlier than what she said. So it was like even nicer. But I was just like dying. I looked at my boyfriend and it was like, she knows us. I just thought it was so funny, but I don't know. I had the best time. I was so worried because, you know, sometimes you could be following a comedian online and you'll see their stuff on YouTube or on TikTok or on other social media. And sometimes the jokes just seem a little too similar, or they're just kind of repeated. I was so afraid that it was going to be like that in this show, and everything was new. It was all new material. She did such a good job, and everything was so funny that my face hurt from laughing so hard. And I just felt like I really needed that joy, that like burst of serotonin. So Sarah Millican, I know you're probably not watching this, but thank you so much. I had such a good time at your show, and she gave out little pins at the end. I am a Bobby Dazzler. And then, oh my God. So this past weekend, I went out with one of my friends. We went for a walk. We were walking around our neighborhood. Our neighborhood is also really pretty. So it's like really nice to like just take in the scenery. It was just like nice catching up with somebody who you've been friends with for so many years. it was just like everything that I needed in that moment. So if you're watching this, thank you. I really appreciate it. And we have to do it more often. But we had the best walk, and then I got home. I streamed for 4 hours afterwards. We played some Dead by Daylight, and then we also did The Sims. But anyway, on this walk with this friend, you might have noticed I got a really bad sunburn, and I'm like actually embarrassed about it. I was wearing a baseball cap backwards, which, like, I don't know why. I got a very unfortunate sunburn. I did not realize that I was sunburned until like the end of my stream. Somebody had rated. I just like glanced over at my camera because I have OBS, which is what I use to record and stream. I had it on my monitor over here. And I looked over it and it was like a big red mark. You just see like where the cap actually was. And I was like, oh my God. We ended up getting some aloe vera, and I've been slathering that on because I'm like sunburned like everywhere. It was going to like thunderstorm really badly. And then we were feeling like water droplets on us, but like it never rained. I don't even think it rained later that day. But I got sunburned. Apparently, one of my friends told me that you can get sunburned really badly during that kind of weather. Like, you wouldn't think it, but sometimes like the sunburns can be harsher. I don't know. Anyway, once I decided where I wanted the kitchen, I knew that the rest of the rooms would fall into place, and they 100% didn't. I really struggled with where to put the bedroom, where to put the bathroom, where to put the living room, and fitting all of these rooms into such a tiny build was a huge challenge. Once I figured out where the bathroom went, because I knew that I wanted the door on that diagonal wall. I knew I wanted that kitchen right there. Once I figured out exactly where the bathroom went, everything else kind of fell into place. So there's a huge garden. There's an area to do your laundry, because a friend of mine had actually gifted me laundry day because they were looking at it and they were like, we're sleeping on this. There's so many good items in this. And there are so many good items. I definitely like having a machine instead, even in The Sims, but it was cool that it was an option. I also knew that I wanted to use the growing together windows, and I think they fit here, but I really struggled with what windows specifically to use and how to use them together, because I didn't want there to be so many windows that it looked kind of ridiculous. But once I started using the trellises instead of windows on some of the walls, it felt like they were no longer just blank walls, and it felt like they served a purpose other than having a window. And I felt like that is where the build started to come together. I also could not decide if I wanted the path to the door, which is honestly what I originally envisioned when Lilsimsie had started the shell challenge. I was like, oh, that's what I'll do. But then I decided I wanted to have a wraparound porch. Roofing this build was tricky. I felt like it was fairly easy to just roof the box pieces, but that the bump out where the door is, you can see that I tried a few different options, and I decided on the like faceted round piece. I also really enjoyed having more to landscape. I liked being able to decorate the wraparound porch. I really enjoyed choosing the flowers and like greenery for the yard itself. I was very pleased with the choices that I did. I also used a lot of hydrangea, which I think are beautiful. I really like hydrangea, and I wanted to use those all around. I also wanted to use trees, and sometimes I really struggle with shell builds with using trees because I feel like they just look out of place, and I don't really know how to make them fit. But as I was playtesting, after I had like finished the build, it felt as if the trees were just always there. So I feel like I had a little bit of a handle on it. I put rocks or like stones around the trees. I felt like that helped make them look as if they were always there instead of just like placed down. I also have to say, for the flowers and landscaping that I put in, I was a little inspired by a mobile game. There's this game on Apple Arcade called Simon's Cat, and you essentially start landscaping, and it's kind of like one of those Candy Crush sort of games. Totally not sponsored, but I've thoroughly enjoyed this mobile game. It's got like a lot of really pretty landscaping in it, so I've kind of been inspired by that game to push myself a bit more with my landscaping. I also really love this mailbox. I don't even know if that I would like this mailbox in real life, but in The Sims, I feel like the mailbox choices are not that great. I know like mailboxes in general can be kind of plain, but growing up, we had a mailbox that was just mounted to the house, and I feel like there's not really any of those in The Sims 4 that I'm aware of. So I don't really know how to use these mailboxes that are just out. Maybe that's a New York City problem, I don't know, but I like using this one because it kind of makes it feel as if it's part of the house. I also wanted to focus a lot on the outside and lighting. I needed to make sure that this was going to look not too bright but not too dark, and as if it fit in with the rest of the neighborhood, because they do have like the lampposts on the street, which does provide a fair amount of light, but I wanted it to not be this like dark presence on the street. I wanted it to look as if it fit in with the rest of the houses. I don't know why there's so many plants in The Sims 4, and I feel like they even put a fair amount in like newer packs and stuff, but I feel like there's never enough. And it's kind of like my go-to when I don't know how to like decorate something. I'll add plants, I'll add greenery. There's not enough. I always need more. I don't even have this many plants in my apartment, but they would probably all die because I've been so bad at watering my plants lately. I've really been struggling with getting my plants watered, and I hope they don't all die soon, but I just watered them yesterday, so fingers crossed, folks. You might have also noticed that I had added in a gate on the fence near the car. I totally forgot that I had done that, and I wanted to make an entrance there, so I ended up deleting that because I kind of just put flowers all around like where you would have gotten in. So that's why I added stairs like to the passenger side door of the car, up to the porch there. It's tucked away and it's really cute. I also realized that there's really no sit down place to eat, so that's why I have 2 tables on the porch, but I also have like that small table in front of the television, because let's be honest, most of us, or at least I do, we eat dinner on TV trays in front of the television. That's how we eat dinner. Even though we do have a dining table. I know it can be pretty disorienting trying to see everything that gets put into a build in a speed build, since everything is zipping around so quickly. So since I'm putting the finishing touches on the build right now, why don't we head into the game and I can show you around. So here we are. You can see that my sim is very uncomfortable from washing laundry in the wash tub, so he's gonna have to get used to that. Here is the entire build. I did like that I made a sort of like driveway here, and you could see like I did get rid of that fence item. I also wanted in front of the car these like little stones so that you don't like drive into the fence. We had like a brick or something growing up so that we wouldn't like drive into things. You always knew exactly where to park the car. I'm also like very happy with all of this. I feel like even with this, I guess, fountain with all of the flowers in it, I'm really happy with the landscaping as a whole. I don't know about y'all, but I would really want to hang out in this backyard. There's a grill, there's a speaker, there's a chess set. I don't know how to play chess, but still, I would have a really good time back here. I also really like the trellises and this little area right here. I guess my sim has started eating. And now to show off the inside, oh, I forgot while I was playtesting, like literally not that long after I started, Kyle Kyleson decided to stop by. So Kyle Kyleson, with his suitcase, has decided to check in and live with my sim in this very tiny 1-bedroom. So I assume Kyle is gonna end up sleeping on the couch. But I've never actually had this interaction before in any of my saves, so I wanted Kyle to stay over. I really love how the bathroom turned out. Using the tool mod, I added this toothbrush up here on top. I thought it makes it look a little bit lived in. The living room is very tiny. I also really love the cabinetry and this small kitchen. I feel like this kitchen is actually not that small. I feel like it like fits for the space. I liked making it a little more cluttered too. And then of course, here is the bedroom. I wanted something that looked a little bit more masculine. There's also room for photos from your gameplay if you end up using this. And if you do end up using any of my builds from the gallery and you would like to share, I would love to see. And then of course, here is the little office space, a little wardrobe, which I think this is more than enough room for your sim to get in, but unfortunately your sim actually isn't able to access anything over here because of the bed and the wardrobe. But if you just move the wardrobe, everything works. So I think that just about sums it up. So thank you all so much for checking out this speed build of mine. I really had a very good time. I did not know that there were helicopters in San Sequoia, but that's kind of cool. Honestly, this new expansion pack and just seeing all of the things in the neighborhood, just like everything that they have here, I don't know, it just makes me really happy. I really enjoy having this pack. I can't wait to play more with it. If you would like to see more of my Sims content, I am currently doing The Little Mermaid challenge. We're also doing Disney Dreamlight Valley, Dead by Daylight, Breath of the Wild, because I am so excited for Tears of the Kingdom to release. This week, we're doing Disney Speedstorm, which I'm obsessed with. If you're a fan of Mario Kart, this game is like way better, way better. But thank you all for stopping in. I will see you next time. Bye bye.